So, hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for agreeing to participate in this interview for a school psychology class. I appreciate it. And we've gone over the consent, and you've agreed and you've acknowledged that this interview is going to be posted publicly on YouTube. So if you're okay with that, then we can proceed.
I'm okay with that.
Great. So maybe you could start by telling me a little bit about yourself and what brings you in today.
I'm a father of three, 2 boys and a girl, and my girl has special needs, so I would like that she would be social with different groups, and we're looking for ways to achieve that.
Okay, great. So how long have you been married?
Just over 12 years.
Great. And do your kids get along? You said that you have 2 boys. Do they? How do they get along with your daughter?
Standard sibling rivalry, I think.
Okay. How old are the kids?
My daughter's 12, and my sons are 11 and 9.
11 and 9. Very nice. And is your daughter in a special school, special program for special ed?
A regular education school. She's in a special education classroom, self-contained classroom.
Okay.
Mainstream for certain subjects.
Mainstream for certain subjects. And how would you describe her challenges?
Her challenges, she has a form of mental retardation. So she's smaller in stature than kids her age, and she has large motor and small motor delays and mental delays, intellectual delays.
Is she verbal?
She is. She speaks and communicates and says anything she would like to say.
Wonderful.
Very social. Yeah.
Wonderful. That's great. Do you mind telling me the nature of her diagnosis?
Sure. She has something called RTS, Rubinstein-Tavy syndrome, and it's an extra chromosome which created differences in her development.
Okay. But you did mention that she has a desire to be social. And how is that limiting in her special classroom? Like, what seem to be the issues that are preventing her from increasing her social skills?
There are mostly boys in her class, so she can't really connect with them in terms of being friendly and being friends outside of school. There's one girl in the class, but although she's nonverbal, so we want that she would be friends with kids who she can communicate with and socialize with, speak with back and forth.
Sure. So it sounds like she has a desire to build on friendships, but it's limiting in her class because it's predominantly boys, and she wants to have friends that she can communicate with on her own level.
Yes, correct.
Great. So as her dad, what do you see as some of her strengths?
Well, she's very social, very outgoing, very positive attitude, very happy kid. She has a desire to connect with people, likes being with people, wants to be social. She has an overall good outlook on life, I think, and with what she has, she feels there's a void with not having social connections right now. Mm-hmm. Kids her age, girls her age.
Right. Which is normal. I mean, that's developmentally, that seems very regular for her age at 12.
That's right.
Great. So what have you done to go about bridging this gap for her?
Looked for some different social groups outside of the school setting, where the goals of these different groups are the same as those that I have for my daughter. Kids connecting and being social, interacting, so that they can build skills that they can build on for years and years.
And you've looked for this on the internet?
I did, yes.
And what have you found so far?
There are a couple of different groups, and we went to one the other day. It was very obviously beneficial to Kayla, which was great.
Did she understand that she was going for that reason, to meet friends and enjoy a social experience? Is she able to understand that? She
is able to understand it, and she was looking forward to that. She expressed that to me a few days before we left for this event, and she was looking forward to making friends.
That's great. And so can we talk about how that went for you and for her? So let's start with, for you, what did you think of the experience?
I thought it was a wonderful group of kids getting together to be social.
And what were some of the activities that they offered at this group?
Well, at this particular event, we carved pumpkins
Oh, okay.
and scooped out the seeds and the goop inside,
Yeah,
and we lined them all up and took photos.
neat. That's neat. What were the ages in this group, and what were some of the developmental disabilities that the kids seemed to portray?
Kayla was the youngest who was there, and there was another girl her age who wasn't there, but the range of ages was between 15 and 17, 15 and 18.
Okay, so she was somewhat on the younger side. Is that what you were expecting, that age range, or were you expecting it to be a little bit younger?
So expecting about that, yeah. So it was a really good group though. They were very accepting of each other and accepting of Kayla.
That's great. That's really neat. And the parents, did you connect with the parents?
It's not that kind of group. It's an older group. So there was one parent there, the hostess of the event, of the person's house who was at, and there was one parent there of another child who was there for a little while and then left. But there weren't other parents besides myself and the hostess.
Oh, okay. So it was more of a drop-off thing?
Yes.
At someone's house?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And how did Kayla do in this new situation with all these new people?
She did really well. It was very interesting. She had expressed before we arrived, minutes before we arrived, that she was nervous. And I reminded her that she's really good with people and people really like her. And then once we arrived, she was kind of sticking close to me for a little bit, but she became very comfortable after an hour or two, and we really liked socializing with the other kids.
That's terrific. That's really great. What are some of the challenges that she tends to have with other kids that you've observed?
Self-control.
In what way?
Sometimes she'll hit.
Oh, she hits.
Sometimes.
Huh. Is it something that you can predict, or is it somewhat spontaneous or impulsive?
It's predictable. If she's tired or if she's moody, maybe reminding her that she has to control herself.
Okay. And do you see differences in her behavior when she's with you versus when she's being with other people? Like, not that you're there, but I mean, have you been told that you have your particular relationship with her versus some of the difficulties that other people might have when they're with her?
That's a good question. I've been told that she's better with me in terms of her behavior, and she did great yesterday.
Perhaps it's because she wants to please you so much, because you do fun things with her.
That could be true. Sure, yeah, that's correct.
So, thinking about this experience that you had the other day with her in the social group, is this something that you'd be able to do often with her?
We will. The program meets twice a month, so we plan on going in 2 weeks.
Wow, that's great. And how far is it from your home?
There are different locations. It's roughly a half hour from here, depending on which location we go to.
Do you think your daughter would enjoy having it hosted at your house? Do you think she'd be okay with that?
I think she would very much like that, and I suggested that yesterday, but she said that most of the kids are really from around there and south of there, so that Skokie is too far. She mentioned, oh yeah, I've gone to Skokie before.
Right.
It was a little too far for most people, so we'll see though. We'll see what we can do.
As far as exploring other opportunities for her to bond and make some social advances, do you foresee any other options other than this group?
Sure.
Let's talk about that.
Well, there's some other groups out there, and I contacted some of the group administrators last week, so I'm waiting to see if there are any groups that can be formed, or if there are any existing now that are within those groups. And I keep checking the events list, their calendars online. So there wasn't anything going on right away for any of those groups.
Yeah, I hear you saying that, you're really out there trying to get this going for your daughter, because it sounds like it would be very valuable for her to explore other dimensions of her ability and to bond and to just to have those friendships going for her.
Yes.
That she's not able to access in her classroom.
Correct.
Daily
That's right.
It's real important for her
Yes,
development.
very important. That's right.
Yeah, well, you sound like a very good father in that way.
Thanks.
It's great. So as far as her brothers go, I want to revisit that a little bit. What's her relationship with them like in the home? Like, does she interact with them? Is there some social bonding? Is there some emotional bonding?
She has different relationships with each of my two boys. One of my two sons is I don't want to say always, but most of the time very, very nice. And so she has a certain relationship with him. And the other son, he's really come a long way. He's been very nice. So I think she's learning that they can both be good brothers to her.
Great. And do they have friends over regularly where she sees them interacting with friends?
That's a good question. That she does, and that was part of the reason she said, "Now I want to have friends." So this morning when she woke up, she said, "Dad, I have some friends." I said, "Yes, you do." So she was very felt rewarded in that way because she does see that the boys have friends.
Right. So if I'm hearing you right, it sounds like she's really cultivating this idea that she's able to have friends. She's able to build bonds like everybody else in a typical way.
Yes.
And you're encouraging that
Yes.
it's healthy for her.
Right.
And that's, yeah.
She understands that's exactly right. She understands it's necessary and that it's appropriate in life to have connections and friends.
Right. And it sounds like that will help build her skills and her confidence.
Yes, for sure.
Right? All those factors will go into building her as a person.
Very much. That's right.
That's terrific. So, so I just was thinking about everything that you're saying, and these meetups sound like a wonderful opportunity, but at the same time, these kids are a little bit older, kind of in a different age group than her. And you were saying that, in her class, there isn't that option of building these bonds because they're boys and she wants girls. So I'm just wondering if perhaps contacting some of the local school districts might be a possibility to see if they have a special education program and whether there are some girls of her age, like tween, that might be interested in having, building some friendships as well.
Sure, that's a possibility. Yeah, sure.
Something that we could look into.
Yeah.
Maybe in the next session.
Sure, that sounds good.
Great. So, thinking about it, so what about some of the brothers or sisters of the kids that your boys are friends with? Can she relate to younger kids in in a way where she might be able to relate to younger children if they weren't 12 or 13? Do you think that would be good for her just to have somebody to communicate with?
Possibly. I don't know if my kids have friends who have siblings who she would relate with, but that might work. Maybe if they were over here or something. Sure, that could work.
That's something that we could probably look into too. So.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming in today.
You're welcome.
And when we meet again, perhaps we can explore some other options in the way of local school districts that might have these pilot programs or special needs programs in their schools that they might have some young ladies that are also looking to bond and have some social groups, and they might be a little bit closer to Skokie and a little bit closer to your daughter's age.
Sounds
That's
good.
something that we could look into.
Sure, sounds good.
Great. Well, thank you again and have a wonderful week.
You too. Thanks.